Hey everybody, how's it going? Well, this will be the summary of my road trip. And the reason I have my glasses on is because I've got a list here written down because there's no way I could have memorized all this. I'm going to give you the facts as they presented themselves to me, and then my opinions. I'm sure not everyone will see these opinions the same way, but these are my opinions of this road trip. First, I want to say thank you to everybody for enjoying the ride with me. It was a lot of fun. I wish I hadn't got sick, but I only really felt really bad for about 24 hours. That's not bad for a 9-day trip. But anyway, I feel much better now. I actually felt much better on the last day. I just still sounded crappy. But anyway, here are the facts as I saw them. First thing, this is what was on my little display on the truck from the trip meter that I set when I left my house on the morning of February the 3rd. 2,860.6 miles, and the hours of actual driving time were 60 hours, 5 minutes, 42 seconds, and it averaged 20.1 miles per gallon, which is pretty good for a pickup. And considering that the entire trip was up and down hills and much of it going 80 miles an hour, I think it's just a matter of steady throttle settings. I'm not a hot rodder. I rarely ever exceeded the speed limits out there because you need to. They were high. Other than wind, I hit no weather of any kind. Not one drop of rain, snow, nothing. It was just windy a few times, and that's not a big deal. The coldest temperature I saw was 12 degrees in Williams, Arizona, the first night of the trip. And the warmest, not counting the 80 degrees it was when I got home in Bakersfield, was 66 degrees in Phoenix. And it was 66 both days I was there. The cheapest gas was in Denver. Cheapest gas that I saw was $3.04 a gallon for unleaded. I didn't need any gas right then, so I didn't get to take advantage of that price. The cheapest diesel I saw, even though I don't use diesel, was at the same station, and it was $3.15 a gallon. But the average outside California was about $3.25 a gallon. The best meal I had was at Rest Rock Restaurant in Denver. I had a pulled pork sandwich with tater tots. And the only thing that made it better than the pulled pork sandwich with tater tots that I had in Williams, Arizona at the Frontier restaurant was the sauce that restaurant, it came with the sauce on it all marinated, and it was really, really good. The one in Williams was really good too, and you had a selection of the sauces you could use, and they had 2 different sauces, and I smothered it with both kinds, and it was prepared very well. But the flavor of the one at Rest Rock was better. I had no fancy dinners the whole time I was gone. No steaks. I didn't go to any steakhouses or any of that. I rarely ate lunch along the way. I would get up and have a breakfast. And if I had to pick a best breakfast that I had, it would be at 2 times I ate at Village Inn, once in Grand Junction and once in Denver. And they were both very good breakfasts. The worst meal I had, that's easy. The Denny's in Santa Fe, New Mexico. That was the worst meal I've had in a long time. I still ate it. I was hungry and it was late and I wasn't going to get anything else. And I didn't feel like eating a Little Deb's lemon pie or something like that I had in my chest. But that was an awful, awful, awful dinner. On to the observations and opinions. The coolest thing that I saw was easily Walnut Canyon outside Flagstaff. Even though it almost killed me, it was just really awesome. If you've never been there and if you're ever in the Flagstaff area, it is well worth the drive out there. It's only a few miles east of Flagstaff. It's a challenging hike, but it's really worth it. I mean, it really did. It wiped me out, but I'm so glad I did it. The next coolest thing I saw were the semaphores out in New Mexico. I'd never seen working semaphores on a railroad before. There's a bunch of them up at the Tehachapi Depot Museum where I do docent work, and they're all in working condition, but they're not working on a railroad. It was really cool. The most fun I had was at the Supercross in Phoenix, as far as just an exciting, enjoyable time, because I love Supercross so much. It was a good building. It was a good crowd. I had good seats, good seat mates. It was a lot of fun. I always enjoy Supercross races, but the most enjoyable part of the trip was the only full day that I got to spend in Denver that I spent with Camilla and Safe and running around Denver and getting by the base, and we just going to the museum. We just had a lot of fun, except for the whole laundry thing that afternoon. But that was an interesting experience after so long of not having uh, used a laundromat since 1984. Um, the most beautiful state was Colorado. Colorado is just really, really beautiful. There, I know that the eastern part of Colorado on the mountains is on the east side of the Rockies is prairie, but prairie's pretty cool too. And even though I didn't experience that part of Colorado this time, I have before. Uh, Central and western Colorado from Denver out to the areas I was in, absolutely breathtaking. The ugliest state was none of them. There was nothing ugly about that trip. I have driven through the eastern desert of California 100 times, probably, literally, and I never get tired of it. There's always something else that I missed the last time I was there, and this time the whole train thing that time where there were just trains just stacked up literally in every siding from Edwards, which is between Mojave and Barstow, from Edwards all the way to Needles and out into Arizona. It got dark quickly after I left that area, and so but I'm sure the trains were out there, and all the trains that were stacked up, there were trains running past them. I'd never seen that many trains in my life. It was amazing. The desert parts of Arizona and New Mexico had their inherent beauties. I've always said that deserts have their inherent beauties. Coming back through Nevada, the Virgin River Canyon, southern Utah, and into the back roads of into Ivan Pasima and Kelso and that whole area, and the cinder cones, and just spectacular, spectacular scenery. I wouldn't want to have to stay in any of those places for any length of time, but I love traveling through them and visiting them and exploring them. The nicest people were everywhere. There are cool people everywhere. There are nice people everywhere. The people that I interacted with along the way, I didn't interact with any jerks, because jerks are everywhere. They're just waiting for you to go say something to them so they can be jerks. Maybe I have that anti-jerk aura about me or something. But it's like I said, my seatmates at the Supercross race, you never know who you're going to end up sitting next to at a big event like that. And they were so cool. Two guys that ended up sitting on the one side of me were they were kind of like me. They were like little kids. Oh my God, that's kind of the way I act. The couple that sat next to me on the other side, super friendly people. We ended up laughing and cutting up and having all kinds of fun. But every place I went had really nice people, and I love meeting new people. And you saw that I ran into a subscriber in Grand Junction, Colorado, and that was one of the highlights of my trip, because I love running into you guys. I just absolutely, it just blows my mind every time I just randomly have someone say, "Hey, are you Mark?" I like that. So if you ever see me, don't hesitate to come up and say hi. But as I said, jerks are everywhere, but so are nice people, and nice people tend to exist in much larger numbers than jerks, so they're much easier to find. The roads. The best roads are in Nevada. Nevada has always had the best roads in all the travels I've done, and I've traveled extensively in Nevada. Their back roads are even in good shape. I've never been on a road in Nevada that was in bad shape. Their dirt roads are probably even in good shape. But I don't know what it is. Nevada's got a lot of money. The interstates are all federally funded, but they're maintained by state agencies. I don't know if they just send those guys out there more often. I don't know how road funding works, but Nevada has always had the best roads. The worst roads, Arizona. Arizona's roads are pretty beat up, especially the interstates. I-40 from Kingman up to Williams is really beat up. I had a subscriber ask if it was as bad as he'd heard, where there were potholes that made it dangerous. Well, no, it's not that bad, not in my opinion. But if you stay in the left lane, and you'll see where the rough roads are, follow the trucks. The trucks start to get over for no apparent reason, get behind them. They probably know about the beat up roads. But I-40 up into Williams and up into Flagstaff, and then I-17 down to Phoenix was all in pretty bad shape. And some of the roads up to Payson that I took, and Snowflake up in that area, some of those were in pretty good shape, but some were in pretty bad shape too. So Arizona, you got the worst roads. The best drivers, I know no one's going to believe this, but California has the best drivers. California drivers may seem crazy, and if you're in downtown Los Angeles or on the 405 at rush hour or something, California traffic sucks. But most of California isn't like that. We have decent roads. People are California does have aggressive drivers. I will admit that, but they're good drivers. You'd say, yeah, but California has more auto accidents than any other state by far. It's because we have more autos than any other state by far, and more miles of highway. But California drivers are pretty good drivers. They know what they're doing. Are they friendly? Are they always going to let you in or something? No. I didn't find that anywhere along the trip. I really didn't find a lot of friendly drivers trying to leave the Supercross in Arizona at Phoenix. It wasn't any easier getting out of that mess than it was getting out of Anaheim. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. The worst drivers were in New Mexico, and I don't know what it was. I went through Albuquerque in the early evening, about 7:30 in the evening or something, and you would think that Albuquerque is a pretty good sized town. You would think that by 7:30, all the people in a hurry to get places would be home already or something. And it was on a Sunday night. And I don't know, there was people, they were driving crazy. It was insane. And bro trucks, you think bro trucks, I had always hoped that bro trucks were a California thing. And those of you who don't know what a bro truck is, a bro's the guy that goes to the gym and he's all puffed up and he wears a flat brim hat and shirts that say I'm a tough guy and big dog and stuff like that, and drive the big jacked up truck with balls hanging off the back of it. That's a bro truck. And I thought that was a California thing. I really did. But nope. No, it's not. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They were all over Arizona. They were all over Phoenix, and they were all over Albuquerque too. And I almost got run off the road by one of them doing about 90 miles an hour down the freeway. Then out on the open road, I didn't take a lot of back roads in New Mexico. I took a couple, but most of it was all interstate. And I don't know. They were just, and I'm going, I saw cars going 30, 40 miles an hour in 80-mile-an-hour speeds that have minimum lane speeds, but they weren't even doing that. And that's dangerous. And I don't know, people cutting you off. I don't know. They just weren't very good drivers. I want to say that I live in Bakersfield. I live between two main thoroughfares, Rosedale Highway and Hageman Avenue, and another northwest main thoroughfare, Callaway Drive, they're all relatively close, within a half mile of each of them. And when I'm sitting here in my office, it's pretty quiet in the office, and I can hear the muscle cars and the crotch rockets and the Harley hot rods all evening long. It never stops. And I had hoped that was a California thing, but no, it is not. That went on everywhere as well. I always say people showing off their exhausts. Whatever. If it makes you feel good to do that, get on with your bad self. But it annoys the piss out of me after a while. But that was something else, like I said, that I thought was a California thing. But something else I want to toss in here is that Arizona is the only state that I know of for sure that I was in that didn't have helmet laws for motorcycles. And I don't care. You want to wear a helmet, wear a helmet, don't wear a helmet. I won't get on a motorcycle without a helmet. Well, I've had helmets save my life a couple times on dirt bikes. So I don't do it. But it just always seemed strange to me the whole time I was in the state to see people not wearing helmets. And not everybody, a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I would probably say more people that I saw more people wearing helmets than people who weren't wearing helmets. I believe in helmets, but I don't really believe. I don't like helmet laws. It's another government mandate. If you want to ride, I don't feel any more freer with the wind in my face with my helmet on than I do with one off. I guess I've never ridden without one, and I never will. But the other thing is the truck speed limits in every state that I was in, except for California. Truck speed limit's the same speed limit as the rest of the cars, and that keeps traffic flowing. Having trucks going 55 miles an hour in California, and I said this in one of my other videos, is ridiculous. It serves absolutely no purpose except to tie up traffic and give the state a little more revenue for pulling trucks over for exceeding the speed limit. And I had a subscriber say that he was never hassled for speeding while he drove trucks, as long as he kept under 65. I, on the other hand, did not have that luck. I only drove trucks for a couple of years while I was laid off. And I got 3 speeding tickets, 2 for 65 and 1 for 60, just depending on the mood the cops were in, I guess. That was a long time ago. I was back in 1980 and 81. I don't know if they do that now. I see a lot of trucks pull over in California. But in any case, it causes traffic problems. It causes traffic to get backed up for miles. Sometimes you go up Highway 99, you got one truck going 55, you got one truck going 55 and a half or 56, and the speed limit's 70, and you got a mile of cars backed up behind them. What happens? People start getting frustrated. They start getting pissed off, and they're cutting in front of trucks to let them know they're mad, and people are flipping each other off. And I never saw any of that out on the open road in any of these other states. Trucks and cars are just two different types of vehicles sharing the same road, going the same speeds, and that's the way it should be everywhere. Oh, and another thing, I had written this stuff down on the other page, so it's going to be out of whack a little bit. The nicest lodging. That would be a toss-up between, what's it called, the Sheraton Crescent in Phoenix and the Town Place Suites in Denver. The place in Phoenix, the room was huge, it was comfortable, and everything about it was really nice. The only thing I didn't like about it, it was the absolute furthest room at the end of the hall, and this was a big place. The place in Denver was just a really nice place. It was a very, very nice place. It had the kitchenette. It was comfortable. It had every amenity you could think of, and they left nothing out. And it was less than $100 a night with my AAA discount. It was very nice. It was called the Town Place Suites by Marriott. And if you're ever staying in the Denver area, I highly recommend that. The Sheraton in Phoenix, I would recommend it to a point, but it's at the intersection of I-17 and Dunlap Avenue, and it's a big intersection. It's very busy, and even though my room was way down away from at the other end, away from the freeway, you could know if you open the windows, it was extremely noisy. A lot of those muscle cars and hot rods getting on and off the freeways and going through those intersections. It was really annoying. I had to keep the windows closed. The worst place I stayed was the Quality Inn in Santa Fe, New Mexico. For me, it was okay. It's easy to impress me. If the bed's comfortable and doesn't have bugs in it, I'm good. But this place was old and beat up, and it was in a sketchy part of town. And but the guy that worked there that checked me in was cool, and it was cheap. I think it was like $57, so I was good. And as to railroading that I saw from start to finish, there's just absolutely nothing to compare to railroading in California. It's just, we have the big railroads, the big trains. We have the Tehachapi, we have the Donner. And I was nowhere near Donner on this trip. I did go over Tehachapi. I opened the first vlog at Cable, but railroading in California is really something else with all the different terrain we have. The east-west corridors across I-40 that I went along, like I said, I've never seen that many trains in all my life, just driving along like throughout the whole day. But the terrain's not like California, even though it was still awesome, and I wish I could have stopped everywhere along the way and got to videos or at least stills, because it's well worth it. But I went through like the tracks between Santa Fe and Denver, where I saw the semaphores and and caught the two trains in the meet there at Fountain, Colorado. Awesome, awesome looking railroad, but no trains. And same thing going down Glenwood Canyon. I didn't see any trains from the point, and someone explained to me in the comments of the last video where the tracks go now, as opposed to the ones I saw that were pulled up further to the east. But I didn't see any trains there either. And even though I didn't have time to stop and shoot any videos, I would have liked to have seen some trains going by. But anyway, that is the end of my summary. I have a bunch of videos still that not a bunch, but some videos that I shot along the way that I didn't put in the vlogs because the vlogs were all long enough. These will be just standalone train videos, have them coming up. I still have to edit all that. It's going to take some time, but I hope y'all come back and watch those videos. And I want to thank you again for following me along through this trip and checking out this summary. So keep shooting me the ideas. Drop me comments below. Shoot me an email at motopoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. We'll see you all later.